Hey, this is Anney.
And Samantha.
And welcome to Stuff I've Never Told You, a production of iHeartRadio.
And welcome to another edition of Activists Around the World. And we're going to talk about a few organizations that are advocating for the trans community around the country today. Of course, there are several out there, thank goodness, but these are just a few. Obviously, we don't have all the time in the world, but we do want to highlight several of them as we go out throughout the year, specifically in this segment. But we wanted to make sure that we are bringing awareness for these organizations that are working against the transphobia and hate that has spread throughout. And because we love our trans sisters and brothers, they deserve to live and exist. So happy Women's History Month, everyone.
Yes. Indeed.
Also, I wanted to shout out to them.us, them, which is a queer online magazine that, quote, from their site, is powered by a diverse team of journalists, editors, artists, and creatives. Each of us bring a distinct perspective to the LGBTQ plus stories we tell, and our efforts are strengthened by the wide range of backgrounds and abilities that drive our work. With decades of journalism and artistic experience on staff, we aim to produce the most nuanced, careful report and entertaining LGBTQ plus journalism and content available today. So I wanted to shout them out because it is their article we're referencing here that is titled 100 Organizations Supporting Trans People in All 50 States, which was published in 2023. So thank y'all very much for having this. Of course, again, this is not all of the organizations around the country, but they did highlight several per state. And I think that's really pertinent right now that we are seeing what is around locally. I think we've talked about that a lot, how big the local organizations play a part for these types of communities and why they are so important and why we should be talking about them more. So we're only talking about 2 states today because, again, this is a shorter segment. So we want to try to highlight the many. But we wanted to start with Texas, and I think we all know why. Don't get me wrong, Georgia's right there with them, but we talk about Georgia a lot, so expanding beyond. So I wanted to talk about Texas. One of their organizations, Transgender Education Network of Texas. You can find them at transtexas.org, and this is from their website. Quote, Transgender Education Network of Texas, or TENT, is the largest statewide BIPOC, trans-led, trans-focused policy, education, and advocacy organization in the state of Texas. We work to accomplish gender-diverse equality through education and networking in both public and private forums. Through our efforts, we strive to halt discrimination through social, legislative, and corporate education. So in their site, they continue, TENT pays important attention to intersectional issues faced by trans Texans. In 2023, TENT worked relentlessly in collaboration with the community and partner organizations during the legislative sessions that passed this past spring. Our efforts include working to file 145 proactive bills to enrich all Texan lives, as well as providing the community with food, safe spaces, workshops, and counseling support. On their website, they have educational resources and guides for parents as well as the youth.
And they have amazing volunteer programs as well as other opportunities to get involved, including a love letter to trans people. Quote, over the past few years, we've received over 1,000 love letters from people all over the country. Love letters like yours remind trans Texans that through the political turmoil, they are still loved.
Right. And I think that's such an important bit. So if you have the time, if you're in that area and want to volunteer, they have a lot of opportunities, and I love to see it. Another organization from Texas is called Fiesta Youth. Again, from their site, fiesta-youth.org. Fiesta Youth began in the summer of 2013 with a mom's quest to help her teenage child find support and resources for LGBTQ youth in San Antonio, our nation's 7th largest city at the time. She found nothing. She reached out to members of the LGBTQ community and our allies, and the idea for bringing an LGBTQ teen and young adult support program to San Antonio was born with the help of many members of our community. On Tuesday, September 10th, 2013, the doors of Fiesta Youth swung open and we waited for the first teen to arrive. Since then, we have welcomed hundreds of LGBTQ youth and allies. So they have a great organization for them. I think I'm going to tell y'all, with these amazing organizations there that do exist, there's also a sparse amount. So as I feel like there's a lot of abortion and reproductive health organizations, there's less trans organizations. And I know There's a whole load of conversations with that. But so places like Fiesta Youth that does work for all queer community, it's important that we highlight them for the trans people as well. Like it is offering help to the trans community as well, just as a reminder. There's also txtranskids.org, which has information and resources for young trans people in the state and in the country, actually. So it offers a toolkit for students as well as offers other resources. So this is not necessarily an organization that has open doors and actual physical place. I don't think. I couldn't figure that part out, but they offer a lot of information for those who are trying to find assistance and helps. Here's a bit from their site. Thousands of transgender youth are currently living and thriving in Texas as their true and authentic selves, and they are courageous and resilient in the face of a historic onslaught against their rights that has exponentially worsened in our state. This website is a hub of resources and information for transgender, non-binary, and gender-diverse youth in Texas and those who love and support them. So if you're just trying to access information or if people are asking for information in Texas, this is a great source just to be able to get toolkits as well as other resources around them. So just something to remember. Then we decided we wanted to highlight Alabama. Once again, and one of the organizations is Transgender Advocates Knowledgeable Empowering, or TAKE, Resources Center. From their site, takebhm.org, the organization started out as a peer support group for trans women of color to come together and share their narratives. As a result, TAKE soon discovered that the organization needed to be more than a support group. There was organizing that needed to be done to break down barriers and to set standards within the Birmingham community for trans-related issues. The group began to focus on issues such as discrimination in the workplace, housing advocacy, support for sex workers, providing trans-friendly services, and working to alleviate the many other barriers that TPOC face that no one else was talking about. And so TPOC is trans people of color, and then trans women of color is TWOC for like the acronym as well.
Yes. The organization offers different resources, including offering crisis funds, drop-in centers, life coaching, and legal services. They also offer weekly newsletters for the community to see what is happening. They also offer help for those experiencing displacement. From their site, quote, Gloria's Safe Haven was named in honor of the late Mrs. Gloria. The doors of the Safe Haven have been open for over 3 years. We have been able to assist over 50 TWOC that were experiencing homelessness. With that new permanent home of Gloria's Safe Haven, we would assist in providing a safer location and environment for TWOC in Birmingham.
Right. So I think that's such a great organization and the things that they do. And then we have prismunited.org, and this is from their website. 6 years ago in Mobile, Alabama, a group of community leaders and volunteers came together to create a peer support group for LGBTQ plus teens. Over time, the support group unearthed broader issues facing LGBTQ plus youth in the area, underscoring the need for a project that could adequately respond to those issues. And it continues, Prism United offers programs for LGBTQ plus youth and the people who care for them. Our youth programs, Prism Teens and Prism Preteens, provide gatherings, special events, and other services for youths ages 10 through 18. Our Prism Families program provides peer support and local resources for family members of LGBTQ plus youth. So they work on helping families of LGBTQ plus youths, and they offer a lot of services like leadership skills, mental and medical care support, and create a supportive environment for the entire group together. So it's really beautiful to see because I think there's something about community, and we know that. We know that isolation in itself is something that taunts us. So they do an amazing job in providing community for these families and these youths.
Yes. And organizations like these are so important always, and especially right now. So listeners, if you have any organizations you want us to shout out or any resources, please let us know. You can email us at hello@stuffmomnevertoldyou.com. You can find us on Blue Sky at Mom Stuff Podcast or on Instagram and TikTok at Stuff Mom Never Told You. We're also on YouTube. We have a TeePublic store and we have a book you can get wherever you get your books. Thanks as always to our super producer Christina, our executive producer Maya, and our contributor Joey.
Thank you.
And thanks to you for listening. Stuff Mom Never Told You is a production of iHeartRadio. For more podcasts from iHeartRadio, you can check out the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, wherever you listen to your favorite shows.